Hi guys, Jared here with Day Traders FX. I hope you guys had a great, fantastic weekend, and I hope you're ready for a good week in the markets. We have some excellent setups that I'm super excited about, and a lot of great things to discuss here. Today is Monday, and usually every Monday, not usually, but absolutely every Monday, I do a live webinar for everybody. We call it the Monday Open House, and it's for everyone to attend, and I take questions, and we post trades, and we do all kinds of fun stuff together. Sadly enough, this Monday I've had something come up just barely, and I will not be able to make the live webinar, so I figured I would record everything that I would normally discuss and post it for everyone to see, so that's what we're doing today. So once again, I'm sad to miss this, and I never miss the Monday webinars, but I'm going to have to give you guys a recorded version of this one, but you'll still get all the benefit of the setups that I would have discussed during our live webinar. Okay, so let's get right down to it. Always something that I like to remind everyone of is the fact that if you would like to get involved in our trading group, you can go to Day Traders FX, and as you get here, you see right here, 5-day free trial. You can just click right there, or you can go to the About section. That'll give you a few more details about it. There's 2 levels that you can join us with, some live chat room versus just access to the website in our typical trade calls. So either one, we'd love to have you join us. Go to Day Traders FX, click on About, and you can get a free trial to either one of those there. So questions, comments, you can go to the contact page, and I will be happy to answer any questions about that. Just send me an email. Okay, so let's have a look at what we have coming up for this week. I posted a video for the group members last night on several setups that actually played out very, very well. We're going to talk about those in just a moment, but we're going to talk about what I think is going to be setting up and happening this week, and we have some very good signs of things to come. So let's get right into that, but first off, I just want to remind everybody of what we have on the calendar. Pretty slow day today in the U.S. We did see a little bit of movement during the European session, but the U.S. and Canadian markets are closed due to bank holidays, Veterans Day, and Remembrance Day for Canada, and then we've got a little bit of Aussie news coming out later on this evening. That's in about 2 hours actually. Coming into Tuesday, we have some New Zealand news. We've got some UK CPI news. Wednesday, we've got some employment numbers for the UK. That's always a pretty big deal. And then we have some retail sales for New Zealand and a little bit of Bernanke speaking Wednesday afternoon. Thursday, retail sales for the UK, always a big one. Trade balance for Canada, a big one. Trade balance for the US is a big one. And we'll see how the markets react to a little bit of Chairperson Yellen, who will be speaking. She will be taking Bernanke's spot after January, after he's done this year. So that's coming up. And then we've got manufacturing sales for Canada on Friday. So we've got a pretty good week of announcements. And we've got some great things to be discussing as we get going here. First of all, the euro dollar has done an interesting thing. We had a big move down here on the euro dollar. This thing spiked down like crazy with the interest rate news that the ECB cut rates, and we saw that spike straight down. Now the euro bounced down here at about 132.50 area. And it's bounced up quite a bit, actually. Hit that, and it bounced up a whole bunch, kind of double-topped here again. And then we had good U.S. job numbers. So we had non-farm payroll on Friday, and that spiked things back down. And here it is bouncing back up again. The euro seems like it doesn't totally want to get down there just yet. Let's see if we can find out what might be going on down there. You can see on the daily chart here that the euro has had huge reactions off the 200 moving average. Here's reaction number 1 all the way back here in September. And here is reaction number 2 in November, and the euro's bouncing off of that. Now, I don't think that's going to cause or be the continuation of an uptrend, but I do think this is a pretty big stopping point. This is going to be a tough level for the euro to get through. I think we're going to start working our way back down into that 130 and even into these lows of 127.50. But we got to get back down to this area, and so through this area. But before getting there, couple of things to note. There's a lot for those that might be on for the first time. We talk a lot about missed weekly pivots, how to trade them, what they mean. You'll have to get a trial to the trade group if you're not sure about this, because I have a full webinar about this and videos posted in the website as well about how to trade missed weekly pivots. We've got a missed weekly pivot right here from last week on the euro dollar, and we had one to open this week right here, but it came up and just touched that level. But another thing that we have is regarding Fibonacci levels. The euro has run down quite a bit with little to no retracement, really with no retracement. It's run down, consolidated, run down, and now it's just barely starting to pull back right here. And so you can see that the euro dollar is just below the 23% fib. That's about 134.20. If we start crossing that 134.20, then we have a very excellent chance of minimal contact of 135.00. I would love to see this weekly pivot get taken out and 135.00, 135.65 area get taken out, and that is where I'm going to be looking to get short euro dollar once again. So anywhere in the 135.50 to 136.00, I am so incredibly short euro dollar, I can't even stand it. I'm becoming very, very bullish on the dollar, and I think we're going to have some very nice sell-off moves yet. November is a great month for trading, and it's been fantastic already. We've seen some excellent moves, and December is surprisingly a great month for trading. So I'm looking for that. I'm looking for the euro to get back up around 136.00, around 136.00, even just above 135.50, and I am short. I will be short as anything on euro dollar and looking to take this back down through that 132.50. So that's what I'm looking for. On the short term, though, let's watch this little guy right here. Remember, our 23% fib is 134.20, and above that, this starts to turn into a lot more of a bullish move, and the pressure to the upside is that much stronger. But if we break this little area, remember we've got kind of a run down, a consolidation up, which usually means another run down. And so I'm still watching this euro dollar, and I'm going to watch this little channel, and if this breaks out, I'll be looking for a little small trade back down here below 134.00, shorting as the market breaks below 134.00, which is just out of this channel, and see if we can get back down to this ascending trend line, this slightly larger one here that would put us back down into about 133.50 area. So short-term trade, we're looking for a move down. Now, if this happens before crossing the 23% fib, this just breaks down and heads down, then we're going to stay bearish. And we may look at a double bottom and some things like that. If this gets above the 23% fib and then breaks down, then we'll trade the sell move down, and then we'll be looking to get long against this low, targeting at least 135.00 on the long side. So kind of a lot to look at there, but keep an eye on Twitter and tune into the live trade group as much as possible, and I'll try to guide and direct you guys through that as best I can. But there's some really great setups there on that euro dollar. But again, in the big picture, I'm really looking for huge shorts up around 136.00. Okay, let's get to the pound dollar. Here was a video that I posted last night on the pound dollar, the setup where we had this straight move down, consolidation up. I said get short at the break of this little bearish flag. You can see that it consolidated out and then moved down 50 or 60 pips. Gave us a nice little run there. But it's kind of double bottoming from the lows of Friday. Not quite a double bottom, but pretty close to it. Finding some good support there. The pound dollar still has some pretty big missed weekly pivots from a little bit ago. So we've got a missed weekly pivot back here and a gap, and that puts us back down at 158.60 area. And so you can see that we're still sitting around we're just shy of 160. So that gives us, some nice pips to work with. We don't have any missed upper levels, so to speak. We do have a little bit of daily pivot point up here that has not been reached from last week, and that can go for a little while, but we still have some big missed weekly targets down below. So I'm looking to get short pound dollar ultimately, but what I'm watching for right this moment is I'm looking for opportunities to still get short against this high now, against this 161.15, 161.20-ish area. So you can see it's not super far up here, but it's a little ways. Now that 161.20 is about 140 pips away. Right now I'm looking to get short against that high. The pound is just kind of grinding around through here. If it gets up into these highs once again, we're definitely short against 162.50. But I don't know if we're going to get that high. I think we might stay subdued below 161.15 for the moment. So if we stay below that area, I'm looking to get short against this. So if we got a little bit of a move up of 50, 60, 70 pips over the next little while, I'll be getting short against that. Otherwise, if it doesn't give us a ton of great opportunities, we're at 159.85 area, you can see, if the next big move is getting short through the lows right here and through this 23% fib. Remember, we talk about that 23% fib. If we cross this 23% fib that's around 159.10, 159.00, then the move, we basically have a guaranteed move into 157.00. So there's a quick 200 pips right there. Quick-ish. It could take a couple of days to play out, but there's a 200 pip move waiting there. And I'll trade the break of 159.00 into 157.00 happily. But I would rather get short against 161.00, 161.20 area, and so that's where I'm looking for this movement higher so that I can get short against that double top from last week and start trading back down towards that 159.00 and 157.00 as well. So there's a great move coming up on the pound dollar still. I'm very bearish pound dollar, but I think we might be able to get a little bit of a move higher. So we're going to be looking just above around 161.00. So just another 100 and change pips higher is where I'm going to be looking for my area to start getting short on this pound dollar. The Aussie dollar, here was another one from last week. The Aussie dollar has run down bear flag, or excuse me, not last week, from last night. I posted this video and I said trade the bear flag and trade the break. And you can see that this consolidated up and broke out last night. Once again, moved 50-60 pips on down and has made a nice little run. Now, here's the slight problem we have on the Aussie dollar, is the fact that we have a missed weekly pivot from 2 weeks ago that's up here around, what is that level? It's right up here around 96.35.30 area, right around 96.30. And now we have a missed weekly pivot all the way down here, as well as around 94, just above 94.10. And so we've got two missed weekly pivots. I think the Aussie dollar is very bearish. I'm super bearish Aussie dollar, but I think that there is some retracement potentially coming with those weekly pivots. And so for the moment, I'm just kind of holding tight, holding steady. We'll be looking for opportunities to potentially trade some of this recovery back up into this weekly pivot right here of this week. But I need a little more. Time, I think, on the Aussie to decide what I'm going to do there. But there are two missed weekly pivots above, and there's a big missed weekly pivot below. So there are some important things to be watching here on this Aussie dollar coming up. So I'll have more details about that. Aussie yen, I did mention the bear flag here. We have a missed weekly pivot right there. And I'm not super gung-ho on Aussie yen right now. I think it's a little choppy and a little messy, and I'm not really loving what I see here so much for the moment. So I'm staying a little bit away from that. Pound yen is kind of interesting. We have on the pound yen this nice little uptrend that's been choppy, and it's had some pretty big failures against 160. But now we're kind of forming this little wedge, this little pennant coming into this area here, and this is a continuation pattern to the upside. So we're going to be watching for breaks of the high of this month, which you can see right here, and that is, I have a bad glare on my screen. There we go, 159 about 30. And then we've got the high, and then we've got that double top that's basically 160, 159.96. But 159.30 is going to be an interesting little area to break. If we get above that, we're probably going to have a pretty easy run into that double top, and then I will be looking absolutely for it to carry through there. So no major entries right now. I'd like to buy on the dip a little bit. If we can get in a little closer to this trend line, that would be great. Somewhere down here around 158.00. If we got a 50-60 pip dip, I would consider getting long pound dollar or pound yen and looking to trade through that triangle. But that's just kind of what I'm looking at there. So keep that in mind. Remember, the pound yen, one thing to mention, the pound yen does have some missed weekly pivots that need to be addressed. We've got one just right back here as well that has not yet been reached, and that is right around, it's gotten pretty darn close, but that's right around 156.50, and that is now a good long distance away. That's 200 pips away. So we've got some targets on both sides here on this pound yen, so we'll keep an eye on that. We'll see where this thing goes. But yen pairs, I'm not super anxious on any trades on Aussie yen, pound yen, euro yen yet. But as the week goes on, that will change, and I'll have some daily videos on that. And once again, during our daily afternoon sessions, we will cover all of these details, and I will make sure to discuss these as the week goes on and as price action confirms a little bit better. Quickly on dollar CAD, I'm still bearish or I'm bullish dollar CAD. I'm bearish Canadian dollar, I guess, and bullish US dollar, and I think we've got a nice opportunity to trade this one up. We're starting to work on a bit of an uptrend here. We've got some space before getting into some of these highs. You can see that we're definitely kind of creeping along here and testing these areas, but I'm looking for that to break. I think that's going to break and give way. There's been tons and tons of price rejection here against this 102.50 and even as low as 101.50, but this level is held like crazy, so I'm looking for the dollar CAD to break and continue up to the top of this channel here. That's a weekly chart, remember, and we've got some pretty nice possibilities of that continuation happening, and I think this is the season of the dollar, of the US dollar. Things are finally turning around. The dollar has had a very, very weak period for years now, with the Fed really keeping interest rates low and doing all this quantitative easing, and that is starting to change while other countries and other major economies and central banks are really stepping on the gas, so to speak, with that central bank stuff and easing and so on. So just keep that in mind. Look at this move up right here. We're finding some pretty good support around this weekly pivot, around that weekly high right before Friday. So let's look for opportunities to trade this long. Let's trade the break of this bearish flag pattern and move up into the highs of Friday. So if we get a break there, a little move into Friday highs, only 30 pips, but it's worth holding on to for the bigger move into this breakout to the upside that we're looking for. So let's hang on to that and let's look for opportunities to get long dollar CAD through that area. One thing to quickly note is Euro Pound. The Euro Pound has made a steady run down sideways, no retracement. Steady run down sideways, no retracement. Steady run down, and now it's bouncing, and we're getting that retracement. We have a missed weekly pivot way up here that's 100 pips away, and remember, 100 pips on the Euro Pound is a long distance. It's already past the 23% fib. It hasn't reached the 30% fib yet. I'm looking for that move to happen probably very, very quickly. That 38% fib's up at 84.08. We'll probably get a little bit of a pullback, but let's look for opportunities to get long Euro Pound against this general area here around 83.65 or so, back around that 23% fib, targeting the 38% fib, which is 84.08. So I'm looking for that to happen. And then we'll see kind of where it goes from there, but I'm definitely looking for a move at least into probably 84.40 this week. And from there, I'm going to be looking to get short anywhere between probably 84.50 and 8500 is where I'll be looking to get short. I think that we have a really good chance of this weekly pivot getting taken out sooner than later, and that's about 84.95. So again, between 84.50 and 8500 is where I'll be looking to get short Euro Pound, but I think we're going to get a little dip, and it should give us an opportunity to at least trade from 83.65 up into 84.05, 84.10. And you can even hang on to it into the 84.40, 50 area because I think we ultimately will get a run up potentially as high as 8500. But if we do see 8500, I'm short. Euro Aussie is kind of an interesting one. Let's keep an eye on this. We have a missed weekly pivot right here for this week that's now quite a bit of a distance away. That is 130 pips just about. We've just taken out the weekly pivot from last week right here, so that spike up took out last week's weekly pivot. Now what we're left with is some big missed weekly pivots way up here, way back here, and some big missed weekly pivots way down here, so they're about 1,000 pips away on either side. A little more, it's about 1,500 pips on the low end, and about 1,000 pips away on the upper side there. So I don't really know which one it's going to go to first, except for the fact that on this move up right here, I'll show my daily chart and forget that that's all messed up. On this move up right here, we ran straight up and we double topped. Excuse the cars there, I'm in a little bit of a noisy area. We double topped right here and on this huge run up, and now from that double top, this has crossed the 23% fib several times, and it has failed to reach that 38% fib. We've gotten pretty darn close to it, which is all the way down here at 139.35. We've missed it time and time again. It's a good little chunk away. We've got that 200 moving average in a couple of things. You can see that we're about 400 pips away from that. I'm ultimately looking to get short against this trend line and against this general area, targeting that 139.35 on the Aussie dollar, or excuse me, Euro Aussie. I think we're going to make it down to that area soon in the coming probably week or two. So let's look for opportunities to get short up here around 14400, potentially 144.50, targeting that missed daily fib down there. Euro New Zealand, same kind of thing. We've got a missed weekly pivot up here, 161.15. We might get there, we might not. We've already crossed the 38% fib. Just know that there's that possibility of making up to that 164.15. From there, I'm short Euro New Zealand for sure. I'll be getting short around that 61.8, around 16100 on the Euro New Zealand. EURGBP, same kind of situation. Now, what's different on the EURGBP? We've had, again, sideways, straight move down. Tiny bit of pullback, bigger move down. We've crossed the 23% fib. Let's look for a little bit of support down here around 140.15, 140.20, which isn't super far from where we are. And let's look to target 14100. 14100 from about 140.15, 140.20. If we start breaking the weekly lows, stops should be down here below these weekly lows right here. If we break those weekly lows of about 139.90, then we'll be looking to short and trade into this double bottom. But if we can hold above those weekly lows, then I'm very confident that we're going to make it into nearly 140.100. So that's what I'm looking for there. The rest of these pairs don't look super interesting to me at the moment, so I'm not sure what I want to do with all the rest of them, but there's some good things in the works. So you can see that Euro dollar has great opportunities, Pound dollar has great opportunities, Aussie dollar has great opportunities, Dollar CAD does, Euro Pound, Euro Aussie, Euro New Zealand, Euro CAD. Great trades are in the works on all of these pairs. So be ready for them, and I will have more commentary coming as the day goes by, and we'll just see how everything plays out from there. So best of luck, guys, and I will have more updates coming on Twitter and in the chat. Thanks, everyone.